For young parents out there with kids between 5 to 10 years old, and you want to develop a very close relationship with your kids at a very young age, and also you want to teach them, critical thinking skills, creative thinking skills, and empathy, then tonight you need to learn to talk shit with your kids. Haha. That's right, guys. These are the 5 shit-talking topics you need to do with your kids tonight, and replace it with the usual, it's bedtime, you're trying to rush them into bed, shh, don't talk, go to sleep, or you start lecturing about their schoolwork, how's school, are they doing their homework properly, are they studying well? Then you rattle off about lecturing them about their eating habits, dinner time, you should eat more carrots, you're not eating enough meat, and then blah, 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 blah. And what happens, your kids really find you annoying. And I get it, guys, you want to really seize the hour, that golden hour with them. You've worked long hours, 9 to 5 or even 9 to 7 o'clock. You've done the dishes, washed the dishes, cleaned up, blah, blah, blah. And you get time to spend with your kids. And that golden half an hour out, you really want them to really listen. Try to impart your knowledge of life into them. Squeeze it into their little brain so they remember every single day. But guys, that is having an opposite effect. All they hear is blah, 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 blah. Trust me, guys, these 5 things to talk about with your kids to replace the traditional way of doing it, which is just basically tell them, pry, try to get into them, right? Like a bloody heavy interview for your kids. They will find you annoying. By doing these 5 things before bedtime, you get to actually understand what's happening at school in a subtle way. You actually understand their friends' network and also their internal emotional feeling and where they're at. These 5 things will hopefully help you, because it definitely helped me. I have 2 kids, 5 and 7. I usually would, adopt my first generational parents' way of doing, which is like yell, tell, just instruct, pry, ask questions. And what happens, your kids will find you freaking annoying, which I found my parents freaking annoying, and I never told them anything. Do not do that. So let's get into it. So first thing, guys, before bedtime, before they sleep, establish a shit talking routine or whatever. Replace that word. I know it's a bit vulgar, but I call it shit talking because I like shit talking. Just go, hey, kiddo, if you can magically turn into like an animal, what would it be? Now, guys, you've got to be really loose with it. Don't really have like a set, rigid routine. Every night, you've got to ask that same question. You've got to do it between, for example, when I'm reading my, debut book, Nana the Savings Jar, which is obviously a plug and, pre-order soon. When we're talking about the book, I'll throw it in. I'll be like, hey, if you could be an animal, what would it be? And then just let them talk. And guys, this develops critical thinking, allows them to tell you what's happening in their brain, because you will discover the type of animal they choose. For example, they go, oh, I want to be a tiger, I'll be like, oh, why do you want to be a tiger? Oh, I don't want to scratch my friends and stuff. And you notice that there's a bit of anger in their psychology, right? Or they go, oh, I want to be a mouse. And I was like, oh, why do you want to be a mouse? Oh, I just want to hide. And is something like happening at school? Then it's a segue, but you don't need to go and follow that segue. Just keep it in your mind, something's happening based on what animal they choose. And it could be a superhero, whatever, replace it to whatever, but it opens the window to the inner child. And the second thing that I'll discuss with them is like, hey, kiddo, today, who is the most talkative kid in class? Who's the clown in class? Or, for example, who do you think is the most liked person in class, and why? Or maybe, who annoys you the most in class? Who's the most annoying kid in class? And ask them, how come? And guys, keep it really loose, right? You're just like talking to a mate, right? And what you'll discover is how their social network is constructed. Where they are in their hierarchy. Who is the most talkative kid? Or do they find the most talkative kid annoying? Or maybe they find the most boring kid annoying. You get to know where is their social status in the hierarchy of their little world. The next thing I'll say to them is say, hey, if tomorrow, and obviously keep it really loose, if a teacher is to leave your school, who do you want that person to be? Who do you want that teacher to be? Or for example, who is the teacher that you do not want to leave your school tomorrow? Now, this question really opens up the can of worms of how their teacher and student relationship is. Who's their favorite teacher? Why don't they like that teacher, right? And obviously don't go blast the teacher. You just want to work out what is your kid's personality type with that teacher, and why is it not working? Why is there friction? Or why is there a certain teacher that they like? And really, you just got to keep that into your own parent database, and therefore you have access to their world without being annoying. And the fourth thing that I'll do, I'll be like, hey, okay, let's play a game, okay? we take turns, okay? Okay, so what we'll do is we'll say the most happiest thing that has happened in our day today, and we'll also say the most unhappiest thing that has happened in our day today, okay? So why don't I start first? And obviously I'll tell them about the most happiest thing in my day and the most unhappiest thing in my day, and then we take turns. And in turn, this is helping them to really have that time to express their feelings to you in a very non-intense way, right? It's not you prying into the emotion. And plus, they learn to hear your emotions and also learn empathy. And guys, this is really teaching your kids emotional intelligence at a very young age, right? Because as our first generation parents won't teach us is, every time they front us, it's like, everything's fine, yeah, everything's good, I always have a good day. No, you got to really tell them that in a day, there's lows and highs, there's highs and lows. It's normal, even for your father, your mother, my parent also experiences sadness. It's okay to share that. And the last thing I'll say within, that 15 minutes or 30 minutes of our, before bedtime routine is that, hey, kiddo, in your class, who is the most naughtiest kid? And for example, if you're the teacher, what would you do to this kid? How would you teach them? This question is really good. It teaches them critical thinking. Plus, it allows them to develop a bit of management and leadership thinking skills. And most importantly, you're not trying to gaslight them in any of these techniques, okay? Don't get me wrong. This is a very healthy, productive technique, okay? You're also allowing them to self-reflect. Was I the most naughtiest kid? Was I being naughty? This also allows them to put on a different point of view, for example, as a teacher's point of view, and what would they do? And it also allows them to really share that with you, and then you're also letting them feel like, they're in control of their school environment, and then you obviously condemn them in any shape or form in terms of any answers they tell you, right? Just go, that's funny, just really laugh out, very loose. And I can guarantee you, if you do this every single day before bedtime, your relationship with your kids will come much closer. They'll see you as a buddy, a mate, but still respect you as a parent, because you will have all this data in your mind and really guide them, proactively. You'll be 10 steps of them. You won't be always shouting at them, reactive, just really being the bossy parent that most kids hate. Especially as adults, we'll still remember our first generational parents. They're freaking bossy ass, right? You don't want to tell them shit. You don't want to do that. You don't want to repeat the generational curse. So guys, tonight before bedtime, do these 5 shit talking techniques and really just shit talk, just with mates. And you'll discover a lot of things that you didn't know before when you were on that high horse preaching down at them. Hopefully this works for you. Jump in the comments, let me know what you think.